Oh, yep. So we're here with Eddie Avelar, run Grounddwellers. Tell us about your school. I notice everyone's really nice. So how'd you make everyone so nice?
You know, I think it's you just lead by example, right? So once you set the atmosphere, everybody just tends to fall into it.
Yeah.
People, like you said earlier, the people that belong stay, and the people that don't belong realize they don't belong, and they end up going somewhere else. They probably go to your academy and try you out, and then they realize they don't belong there either, end up somewhere else.
Yeah.
So Grounddwellers has been here for 10 years. The name Grounddwellers came from my Kung Fu instructors. Back in the day, I was doing Kung Fu, and when I came to Houston, because I did Kung Fu in Missouri, when I came to Houston, I started doing jiu-jitsu, and then I decided I wanted to cage fight. And when I went to tell them that I was going to start cage fighting, they weren't happy with it. They said, as long as you understand that it's a sport and it's not real fighting, we'll be okay with that. So then the years went down. In 2009, I decided, because I fought in 2005, 2006. And in 2009, I decided I'm going to open up my own academy because this place became available. It used to be a place called Momentum Jiu-Jitsu or Momentum Martial Arts, or a fitness center. And so they bought the mats, they rented it out. They only lasted for about 8 months. And then they had to shut the doors because they couldn't pay the rent. So the mats were here and everything, and I found out that it was just sitting here. And then I went and talked to the landlord. They said, you just pay last month's rent and switch the electricity to your name, and it's yours.
Yeah.
And so, man, I was in. Mats were already here. I didn't have to buy them. So this is about $8,000 worth of mats, right?
That's awesome.
So then I got to go back to Missouri and tell my Kung Fu instructors that I'm going to start a Jiu-Jitsu academy. And so when I went, they were like, what? You become a ground dweller? And I was like, what? They're like, well, you fight on the ground, so you live on the ground, so you're a ground dweller. And it was meant to be an insult, right? And so Missouri is an 11-hour drive.
Right.
So I'm driving home going, you call me a ground dweller? What is that, man? And then I went, that's a great name.
Yeah.
And so we kept the name Grounddwellers. And it's been around, and we've been, putting our stickers on vehicles, and everybody knows we've been here. I competed quite a bit back in the day, and then I got my black belt, still kept competing. Then I started refereeing a lot, and I think because of the refereeing, a lot of people knew who I was. So that got my name out even more. And so nowadays we're doing things like the Kumite, which is a no-gi grappling tournament. It's kind of like an EBI rules. And so the name continues to get out, and we've just been around. We go and we compete, we do our thing. We try not to show our ego at the competition either. I tell my guys, when you win, you act like you've been there before. Right. Don't get all excited, go, yeah, I won, because we should actually show that, this is what we do, this is who we are, and it's no surprise to us that we're going to go and win. But we got to take our losses with the wins as well. And so being a good loser and being a sore loser, we don't want to be the sore loser, but we also want to be that winner that's going to go out there and not be like over jealous and be all excited or what have you. So again, I think people see that attitude, and it just trickles down. And so when new people come in that have never done jiu-jitsu before, come in and they kind of either fit in or don't fit in.
Right.
And so that's where we're at. Now it's funny because with all the Kung Fu and all the jiu-jitsu, about 3-4 years ago, I started doing judo.
Nice.
And I think I did it backwards. I should have done judo first and then done some jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And so now we have a judo program here that's ran by Zach Galbo, which is a third dan, and out of a School of Hard Knocks. So
awesome.
School of Hard Knocks is up in the Woodlands with Coach Connolly. And so we've been doing our judo program. I'm a third dan, I'm a brown belt. Still haven't got my black belt, but that's me trying to hold it off because it's like, I want it to last a little bit longer. Right. I don't want to get that black belt and then feel like, well, I can run this by myself and have to get rid of my instructors. And so it's a good mix right now. We have about 21 students that do strictly judo. And it's funny because those judo players don't cross over to jiu-jitsu, and my jiu-jitsu guys don't want to do judo.
Interesting.
I don't understand it.
That's really interesting. What, if there's somebody that saw this video, we'll make it so it's available and everything, what would you say to somebody who's maybe just a random person that's thinking about doing martial arts? What would you tell them just to how to come by and visit, or what would you say to get started if they're a little nervous, maybe they're scared to come in and train with any academy, in your academy?
Yeah. Definitely you want to do research on the academies, and you want to see if the academy has like a white belt friendly class to where it's not going to intimidate you to come in and have to spar right off the bat. Right. You're going to learn some basics first, and then you can come in and decide to upgrade to a different program and maybe, get into where you're sparring and hurting each other and things like that, right? In a gentle way. But martial arts itself in general, man, I think, more people need to get out there and learn a self-defense. Then you got to sit and wonder, what's the best martial art? That would be a silly answer if I were to say, jiu-jitsu or kung fu or krav maga. It's really going to come down to your environment. Are you going to find yourself out, in a bad situation where everybody has guns? Well, then you need to have had some experience on either disarming somebody or shooting a pistol. If you say, hey man, we're going into Mexico right at the border, you better learn how to fight with a machete or a pocket knife, because that's what's going to come after you.
Right.
It's not very often that you can just go, well, I'm going to go to this neighborhood and they do jiu-jitsu there, right? But the idea is that if you hit the ground, you have to know what to do. Right. You have to have some concept of how to switch the situation to where you can get on top and get up and run away.
A basic framework, like
basics, right?
Yeah.
And like I was saying, we can have all this fancy, flashy stuff, but if it doesn't work out in the streets, or if it's too much to work out in the street, it really isn't necessary. 3 months of jiu-jitsu is going to really help somebody. So I encourage people, get in there, at least get 3 months of jiu-jitsu. If you like it, stick with it. If you don't like it, well, at least you got 3 months of it to help you.
Right.
If you get into the situation, because we can talk about so many different ways on how it ends up on the ground. You can do a YouTube research and find out how many fights go to the ground, and you can start counting them. And then you start to realize, man, that guy tripped. Oh, that guy took him down. Oh, that guy tried to take him down, but he ended up on bottom. And so there's just so many different ways that you can end up on the ground. The idea, though, is to understand what you have to do, how to shift your body weight to get out of that position, get on top to either run away or fight from above.
Yeah.
So, definitely do your research. Try out academies, from academies to academies to academies. Don't let cost be the final determination of whether it's what you want or not. We have that theory about people like to pay for higher end stuff because they feel it's better quality.
Right.
But it's really going to be the atmosphere, the cleanliness of the academy, the attitude of the instructor, the attitude of the rest of the teammates.
Right.
So I would tell them, find an academy, try it out, try out a second academy, try out a third academy, and then maintain whichever one you like the best.
That's great advice. I think there's a magic number when you're trying to check, and it's exactly something around that, like at least 3 or 4 academies. And once you've been to that maybe 4th academy, then you have a good framework to pick the one.